And we've also found out that working with them around art projects gets them to be able to work with each other. And I think that our main idea of getting young people from opposite sides of the neighborhood that have been taught their whole life to disassociate with each other, that have been tracked into separate classes so they don't see each other and have been taught basically to hate each other, that we're trying to stop that divide and conquer tactic by using art, by using the environment, and by using cultural education. So we've done a series of murals in which the young people have been able to put up the images that they feel like represent them and represent our people and put them up on the walls. So a lot of young people consider themselves to be guardians of this block, guardians of this neighborhood, and they think that that block belongs to them. And they're so convinced of that that they have it tattooed on them. They are putting their lives in the line and their freedom on the line to be able to defend it. And so we challenge them, okay, if this really is your block, if this really is your neighborhood, what are you doing for it? What kind of positive things are you doing? What kind of progressive things are you doing to help out this block? And if you really are down to defend it, how will you defend it? And they created a mural project that mobilized over 200 young people to paint on this wall. And so when we gave them the option to paint whatever they wanted, a lot of people chose the images of lowriders, chose the images of cars, because they feel like that's something that represents Chicano culture and is universal. And that is a part of our culture that we feel like is not affiliated with one gang or with another gang, but it's something that the entire raza looks up to as something positive, that's something that our people have created. And so when they were given the opportunity to paint what they wanted, they painted a series of old school cars across the back of this this car. Instead of it just being, you know, like a street club car sign like a lot of them have, they put the word solidarity, and is part of a larger mural that is talking about solidarity between black and brown communities. And right next to that lowrider with the Chicano guy standing in or sitting in it, and some images of brown berets in the background, is a scraper car with some African American young people next to it, and the images of some Black Panthers in the background. So we're trying to draw connections between the ways that our communities have consistently had the cars that nobody else wants, consistently had cars that other people think are worth nothing, but have been able through artistic forms to change it into something that is the tightest thing driving down the street. And so like right now, you know, there's people who are investing all of this energy into taking a car that you can get on Craigslist for like $200 as a scraper, or as like a Buick or some old car, and turn it into a scraper that looks like something that you're proud to drive down the street in, even if it only costs $200. So I think that idea of recycling that's becoming popular around the world is an idea that a lot of communities are already implementing just because of lack of resources, just because of not being able to go out and buy a brand new hybrid or a brand new car, but having to deal with what we have and being able to buy something with the resources that we have given right now. So we held a block party to celebrate the completion of that mural. Anybody seen that mural? It's on 24th and Cap, so if any of you guys are interested in checking it out, the whole mural is on 24th and Cap in the parking lot, and we had a block party to celebrate that, and a lot of folks brought out their old schools and brought out their cars, and when that happened, everybody came out and everybody wanted to see what was going on. We had jumpers and barbecue and Aztec dancers to celebrate that the young people did something positive in the community by creating that piece of public art. And we were talking a lot to all the folks that came out with their cars about, you know, what does this car culture represent to our people? And right now in the conditions that we are, and with a lot of folks not graduating, a lot of folks going to jail, a lot of folks getting killed in the streets, how can we use this one thing that everybody looks up to as a tool for our organizing? How can we use this as a tool to bring our people up? And a lot of folks explain that they have these cars, they like these cars, they love this culture, but they can't afford to drive them because of the gas. And so a lot of other folks like myself, I have a 62 Impala. I've had it since I was 18. It was the first car I ever bought I bought it with my own money from working. And my idea with it was to put and invest money into it, flip it out, and drive it. So, you know, I worked, I invested money in it. I worked on it myself. I dropped the engine in it. I put in brand new intake manifold, fixed the whole thing up. And then the war started. And I'm an activist. Like, I am seriously like hell of involved in the community and don't want to drive around in a car that makes me look like a hypocrite. So although I get props for having the car, I feel horrible driving around in it because it's a gas guzzler and we're at war with Iraq over oil. I can't be out at a protest on a Saturday marching down the street with 200 of my young people talking about stop the war in Iraq if I cannot get to work without using up 20 bucks worth of gas to get there and back. So we stopped driving those cars. And even though I still have it sitting in my mama's front yard, I won't drive it because I don't want to participate in the war economy. So we are like, you know what, we have this beautiful resource. We have a lot of folks at Homey that have these old school cars. We have young people that are artistically inclined, and we have culturally relevant things that we want to get out there. We have young people who are on either side of a gang divide and are looking for something and are looking for mentors and are looking for people to lead them. And we have older folks that have gone through the prison system and come back and want to work in the community to make a positive change. So if we have all these pieces, what do we do with it? So we did research and we met with a lot of folks that are artists and asked them if we were to get a whole bunch of old school cars, could you guys put art on them? And they all said yeah. And they all said they would volunteer their time and effort and put some of that art on some of the cars. So the idea right now is that we take those cars that we have and we convert them into biodiesels. And so I mean, it's a tight idea, you know what I'm saying? Like if you watch television and you see the Pimp My Ride, the whole thing is about going into the suburbs, taking a car, investing hella money into it so that one person has that car. And you know, the idea of taking something and fixing it up is a tight idea. That's recycling, that's what's up. But that car is just for that one person. So our idea is that we want to empower that ride, not just pimp it. We want to green that ride, not just pimp it. And we have young people who have committed to videotape the series of conversions of cars from broken down old schools into culturally relevant outreach mobiles that can be driven around the neighborhood that young people think are interesting and look good, and that we provide a class that trains the young people how to take that car, convert it into something that's usable and something that is not destroying the planet. Because as we are taking them to protest to stand up for their people, and as we are mobilizing them to stand in solidarity with other communities that are under attack, we feel like we have to also be providing them with job training. Right? Not just political ideology, but job training and things that they can actually take a certificate away from and show on a resume that they know how to do something. And I saw in the Crucibles video, those young women talking about how proud they were of their car, of their bikes. And that's so tight to know that those young women held a power tool in their hand and now feel like they can weld anything. You know, like that's really, really, really empowering to young people to feel like they did that they know how to use that tool. They know how to, you know, do something. And I think that that's part of what our ideology is for this project. So we wrote the first grant, and we got a grant from the SF Arts Commission to begin the project. And so we have started getting cars. We got about 5 cars so far, and we're right now working on getting them converted into biodiesel. So the project is not finished yet by any means, but if anybody wants to support it, Homey has a business right now that we run for silk screening. Anybody got a silk screen t-shirt on? Anybody like silkscreen t-shirts? Tight. So we have a whole bunch of young people that are artists that are a part of our program, and we've taught them how to silkscreen because we feel like silkscreening is one way that we can get our message out, that we can be independent of corporations and not have to depend on the Gap to clothe us, but that we can provide our own clothes for our own people. So young people have been coming into our program for the past 3 or 4 years and learning how to silkscreen, starting their own clothing lines. And so Homey has a website, homeysf.org, which you can go to and you can buy shirts off of us. Or if your program needs t-shirts for your a project or for a class or for sale, if you are trying to do a fundraiser, you can come in and we will print the shirts for you, order them, handle them, everything. We have really great printers that know how to do it. And if you know, invest your money in doing business with us, we invest the money that we make through that small business right into the programs that we do in the community so that we don't have to be dependent on grants and on the city funding and on and corporations to fund us, so that we can do the work that we feel like we need to do in the community and be self-sustainable. So if anybody's interested in supporting Homey, the website is homeysf.org, and you can Google it, or you can go to you can Google Green My Ride and it'll come up. And the support that you give to that organization is helping to support this project. So if you guys want to check us out, we're on Mission and 9th. Thank you guys for listening.